Hi and welcome back to Model Maniacs. Today we're going to talk a little about filters, grime and washes. As you know, to get the detail to stand out on the model, you have to make a wash or a pin wash. Perhaps you may have to have some grime on it, or you can add a filter to your color to give it a depth. So how do we do these things? The easy way is to buy. AK has some filters, they have some wash, and they have streaking grimes. So we're just about done. But for us who are a little more up to do it yourself, how can we do them yourself? Well, that's quite easy. All you have to do is to have some items. In this case we need oil colors, we need some enamel paints, we need some brushes, paper towel, eye droplets, and we need some white spirit. And the first thing we do before we use washes is that the model that we have painted has to be painted either with acrylics or enamels with a base coat of lacquer, because you can't use these washes on a enamel painted model without ruining the paint job. So that is the first thing that we have to think about. Secondly, the type of material that we're using, as I will tell you here, has some specific things that we have to think about too, because those oil colors that I'm using can be either translucent or all filling. Translucent means that when it dries up, it's not covering it up, covering the base up. The difference here you can see in those two is Terra di Castle and Terra di Siena. I don't know if you can see it here. I hold them here. There's a marking on the tube here. There's a whole square and a half square. That means that that one is not covering up, but this one is a covering up. So I prefer using Terra di Castle when I do my job, because then I don't have to add black enamel. You can use Terra di Siena, but then you can use a little bit of enamel too, because then you will have more depth to the wash. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we do the filter, the wash and the grime? I will show you. We start with a palette like this, and to make a filter, as you can see here, I already made a mixture here. Here is Terra di Siena, and here's white spirit. And what we have to do now is to mix those. For that is essentially the difference between a filter, a wash and a grime. It's the mixture that separates them. So for a filter we take 9 drops spirits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 drops white spirit. And 1 drop of paint, like that, and then we give it a stir. Now here you have a filter, 9 drops of spirits and 1 drop of paint. That is very, very thin. It's almost like water, but you can see it. For the wash you will do the same thing, but here you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 7 drops of spirits and 3 drops of paint. And here you have a wash. And for the grime, we will take we'll take 4 drops of spirits. 1, 2, 3, 4 drops of spirits. And we'll take 6 drops of color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there you get a grime. Here is the grime. Now we have mixed them up as they should be. And I have here paper foil that I can put under here so that you see what I'm doing. Here we now have the filter is down here, and that is 90% white spirit and 10% color. And the wash down here is 75% thinner and 25% color. And down here we have the grime. This is 40% thinner and 60% color. So as you can see, here is much more thinner than color, but here is more color than thinner. Those 3 components are the same that you will find here. This is a wash, this is a grime, this is a filter. It all depends on what you are going to paint. Do it like this. Let's see. Now we have come to the point where we know what we're doing. Now this is the parts of this color that we're going to use. So where are we going to use these different kinds of filter, wash and grime? Well, the filter starts, if we start with the filter, we can say that the filter is made to accentuate the color at hand. Place it like that. You can still see it, I think. So that you know what I'm doing, I can turn it around like that. Okay, I will show you. My camera is not so very good, but I don't know if you can see this at all. No, I think that I will just talk you through it instead. If we take the filter, we use a white brush like this, a wide brush like this. We'll remove this one and I do it on the paper instead, and I show you how it works. You just take the filter and you add it to the paper, and you see that it is nearly nothing when you take it out. There is very little paint in this. You just apply this to the surface of the model, to the front or to the back or to the top of the tank. When it comes to the wash, you are using the wash with a very small brush, and you just apply it to points on the tank. A handle, for example, or a bracket, or a hatch open, a hatch or something like that. So this is used as just a point. You won't fill the whole tank with wash, because the effect would be devastating. As you can see, there are a lot more color in this one than in the filter, so that you will darken the color too much, so that the tank won't look that good anymore. And if you take the grime, you definitely won't use it on the whole tank, because this will alter the color totally. This is very much more color. Grime is used on the sides. You can drag it up like this. You let this dry for some minutes, 20 minutes or so, and when you've done that, you take a broad brush like this, dip it into white spirit like this, and you dry it off on the paper towel, and then you start to work on this from the upside down. And as you work on this, you will loosen the consistency of the color and it will blend in, but you will still see the streaks. It's very hard to describe without doing it on a but my camera is too bad. If we are using this for water stains, we will do it on the other way around, because we take white spirits and we use for example a buff or a light yellow, and we start from the bottom and work our way up instead. That is very important when it comes to rain stains. So this is a little explanation of what a grime, a wash and a filter is, and how you mix them. As I said in the first place, it's very important that you use a varnish on the model if you're using a enamel when you paint, because all this work that you are doing will loosen the paint and you will ruin your paintwork. If you are using, for example, Vallejo or AK, there's no problem, because those are water suitable, and those won't be lifted with the white spirit. So that's a thing you have to think about. Well, this is the first part. I will be back and show you how you work with it. But for so long, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.